Hey everyone! Today I'm going to do a video on how to make kombucha. We're really curious to try this ourselves. We've tried a couple store-bought versions and have really enjoyed it, but obviously it's pretty expensive, so we wanted to try it ourselves. We saw that you could buy Scoby on Amazon, and we decided to do a video where we're going to compare making kombucha with an Amazon bought Scoby and a local bought Scoby. So we want to see if there's any difference and see how it turns out. If you don't already know, kombucha is a fermented sweet tea with a ton of health benefits. It uses bacteria and yeast, which is what that Scoby is, to make the drink. So we will do a quick video here and show you the difference between kombucha made with an Amazon bought Scoby and one that we bought locally from somebody here. Alright guys, let's get started with this experiment. So first, let's go over a few things that you're going to need. So you will need some black tea. I bought an organic black tea in tea bag form. You can use loose tea if you have it, and I'll give you the ratios in just a minute. You'll need sugar, white sugar, and I just bought this cane sugar, and Scoby. For this experiment, we're going to compare this Amazon purchased Scoby and this local Scoby that we got from someone here. And that is actually a baby Scoby. We bought it last weekend and haven't had time to do this yet. And it formed another Scoby in there, which is kind of cool. The other thing that you'll need is a vessel. This is a 1 gallon jar that we got on Amazon. And I will put all the links to the supplies that we bought. So you guys can purchase these if you want. But this is just a nice big glass jar. And those are the supplies that you'll need. So your ratios, I'll pop them up on the screen, but there you'll need 8 cups of water for doing this gallon size. You'll also need 6 tea bags or 12 grams of loose tea and 3/4 cup of sugar. And you want to make sure you use regular white or cane sugar like this. You don't want to use any other types of sweetener like stevia and whatnot. Your end product won't have that much sugar because the Scoby, it actually feeds off this. Right now it's sitting in this sugary black tea, and that's what it feeds off of. So in the end, it really doesn't have that much sugar because it eats it. So anyway, let me go ahead and open up this Amazon Scoby so we can check out that. Oh, I've been curious to see what's inside and what that looks like. And let me pull this. It's actually in a bag in here, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to put the packaging over there. And as you can see, that's a little better view there. You can see that little Scoby right in there. And it's got a decent amount of starter tea. And you will need this starter tea to make sure that you keep the pH of your kombucha correct. So I'll show you this step in just a little bit here. We'll move over to the stove and start boiling some water. So let's get started. I've got 2 cups in there. This is my last 2 cups. And we'll get this boiling. Alright, so the water is at a rolling boil. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And now we can go ahead and steep the tea bags. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 6 tea bags in. And we're going to let this sit in there for 10 minutes. The tea has steeped, and now I'm ready to pour it in. So I have 4 cups of brewed tea that I have heated up, and I'm going to pour it into 8 cups of filtered water. The purpose of this is to cool my mixture down faster so I don't have to wait so long to add the Scoby. And then after this, I can add the sugar. The tea will still be warm enough that the sugar will dissolve. So here we go, 4 cups into 8 cups. Alright, and you can see how nice and dark that is once I add the sugar and then the Scoby. Once it actually ferments, it'll lighten up quite a bit, but it's supposed to be that dark to begin with. Alright, so our tea has already steeped, and I have already poured it into these 2 vessels here because we're doing a comparison. So this one is gonna be the one for the Amazon Scoby, and this one we'll put the local Scoby in. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the sugar in here while it's still warm, and then we'll have to let it cool down before we add the Scoby. So I'm gonna go ahead, this one's already got sugar. I'm pouring 3/4 cup of sugar into here, into my 12 cups of liquid. And you want to leave a little bit of room. I'm gonna mix that in. You're gonna wanna leave a little bit of room in your jar, so you don't wanna fill it all the way up to the 16 cups. Alright, so we've got our tea mixture cooled down, and we're about ready to add the Scoby, which is the most important part of making kombucha. I did want to mention, you always want to start with sterilized jars. It's really easy to sterilize these jars. All you need to do is mix in some warm water and white vinegar, and you can just swish it around, and that'll sterilize your jar before you add anything into there. Also, you can see I've got enough space here to add the Scoby and the starter tea, so that's why we went with 4 cups of brewed tea and then poured it into 8 cups of water, so we left, you know, enough room in our 16 cup jar here for adding Scoby and starter tea. The starter tea will help with the acidity of this mixture. Alright, so let's get to it. So we're going to add Scoby. Now for sterilizing, I've got some white vinegar here, and I'm actually going to wash my hands in that, so that way when I touch the Scoby, you know, my hands are clean. So I'm going to carefully cut this open here. This is our Amazon Scoby, and I'm opening this up right now. Let me set that aside and throw that in there. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab the Scoby out because my hands are clean, and I'm going to carefully place it into this container and pour in the starter tea here. So you want to make sure that you've allowed time for your mixture to cool down. You can either just wait a few hours, or you can use a thermometer and make sure it is 90 degrees or below before you add in the Scoby, or it could kill it. Here is the local Scoby that we bought. I'm going to go ahead and place this one in. That's a huge Scoby compared to the Amazon one, so we'll see how all this turns out. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in the starter tea. And you want to make sure you have cheesecloth on hand so you can cover your jars. You want to make sure that the jar has breathing room. And you'll just secure it and pull that down. So there's the Amazon one, and here is the local one. And then after this, we'll find a nice dark place. Alright, so I found a place in our kitchen that doesn't get a whole lot of usage, so it'll stay dark in there. So the first one there is the Amazon Scoby, and then the one behind it is the local Scoby. So we're going to let these sit in there for about 7 to 10 days, and then we'll be back to see our results. So we're going to go ahead and uncover. I'm going to uncover the Amazon one first. and we'll see our results. As you can see, that one's not looking so healthy. I'm uncovering the local one next. So as you can see, it looks like this Amazon one is pretty broken up. It doesn't look very healthy. The local version looks very healthy. That's got a nice big Scoby on top, and then I can also see the layers here of the baby Scoby and the mother Scoby. So anyway, I had higher hopes for this Amazon one. I was hoping you could just order, but some of you may have had luck with ordering one, but from my results, doesn't look like we had a good batch here. This was the exact same process for each one, but this local one looks nice and healthy. Well, this was a lot of fun doing this comparison. We appreciate you guys joining us, and I'll be doing part 2 of this, where I do a second ferment only of what I brewed in this local Scoby here. But I'll do a second ferment to show you that process, and we'll be flavoring it with some really good fruits. So anyway, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our video, guys. If you like that, give us a thumbs up. You'll find more videos over here, and subscribe down here. Bye-bye. See you next time.